Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and unearth the most compelling insights. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating digital artifact. It sort of makes us rethink how we establish personal boundaries in, well, our hyper-connected world. Imagine declaring your independence from family stuff, not in private, but like on a public blog. That's exactly what someone did, and it forces us to ask, what drives such an extreme act of digital boundary setting? And what's it tell us about those shifting lines between personal and public online? We're looking at a Medium article. It's from October 16, 2024, titled, "Is Blood Thicker Than Water?" Not really. By Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray.
Right.
What immediately grabs you is its structure. It reads, well, almost like a legal notice, super formal, yet it's posted on Medium, a blogging platform.
Exactly. And that's what's truly intriguing here, that exact paradox. You've got this highly formal, almost official tone, but it's sitting right there on Medium, totally public, totally accessible. It certainly makes you wonder about the backstory, doesn't it? The intention behind it all.
Okay, let's unpack the core document itself. Inside the post, there's this short letter, stark title, "To Whom It May Concern." Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray states, and I'm quoting here, "I am writing to clarify my limited relationship to the affairs concerning my relatives or lineage."
Mm-hmm.
Then they declare very clearly, "I do not possess any authoritative involvement or influence over their actions or decisions."
Pretty direct.
Yeah, really direct. And this isn't just, a casual family note scribbled down somewhere, or even a quiet personal decision you tell a few friends about. This is a very deliberate, very public statement of non-involvement. The intention is right there in the text. This notice is intended to prevent any misunderstandings regarding my connection to specific family matters or lineage-related issues. It's proactive, almost like they're trying to get ahead of something. Drawing a really clear line in the sand. It definitely speaks to a conscious effort to publicly manage a personal narrative.
And that formal closing. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Tyreek. It just hammers home that serious, almost business-like tone. It's definitely not your typical blog post, sharing feelings or updates. It's a formal notice, just in a really unconventional space.
Yeah.
But what does it mean for you listening right now when someone decides to set up such a personal boundary so publicly, making it part of their, permanent digital footprint? And here's where it gets really interesting, the context of Tyreek's other stuff online. When you look at the rest of Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray's published work on Medium, you see a different side, maybe more complex. Beyond this very personal declaration, Tyreek has also written articles like "Building Companies That Matter," "A Look Inside My Latest Ventures." In that one, he mentions launching a trend forward soda on Kickstarter and working on lifestyle-focused ventures. And there's even another piece, "The California Republic, A Brief History of Independence." And so quite different topics.
Right. And this raises a really important question for us, I think. What does it tell us about someone who's balancing these, entrepreneurial projects
Right.
and historical interests, like the California Republic piece, with such a specific formal public declaration about their family? It paints a picture of a really multifaceted public identity, almost like different compartments. And the fact that these are all just out there on Medium suggests a certain level of comfort, maybe, with broadcasting different parts of life, even the super personal bits. It's almost like each article is a curated facet of their public self, carefully presented.
Yeah, and there are these little details, too, that add to the picture, like the author lists their pronouns as he, him, the one, and a pretty modest follower count, 6 followers, 14 following. Small details, maybe, but they contribute to this overall image of someone actively using a digital platform for, incredibly diverse kinds of communication.
Mm-hmm. And what's particularly striking, I think, is the strategic choice of Medium itself. It's not a legal doc filed away somewhere private unless you go looking. It's a public blog post, accessible, searchable. And this isn't like a fleeting social media story that disappears. This creates a lasting digital artifact. It stays there, which suggests an intent to reach a broader audience, right? Maybe manage reputation publicly, set expectations, or just make a really personal statement undeniably clear to anyone who stumbles across it now or, years down the line. That permanence, that attempt at what you might call digital self-sovereignty, that feels like a really crucial detail here.
And the title itself, "Is Blood Thicker Than Water?" Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, that directly challenges such a common saying. It works almost like a thesis statement for the whole declaration, doesn't it? It's a pretty bold assertion of individual autonomy over those assumed family ties or obligations. Almost defiant, really, in a world that often just assumes those bonds are, the most important.
Yeah. Defiant is a good word. And this isn't just some isolated weird thing. It feels like a micro example of a much bigger trend we're seeing. More and more individuals are using public platforms not just for cat photos or vacation updates, but for asserting autonomy, for managing highly personal narratives, doing it in ways that frankly were kind of unthinkable just a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
This public declaration becomes part of that persistent digital footprint, accessible to anyone. It's effectively carving out a public definition of one's private relationships.
But couldn't that kind of backfire? I mean, putting something so personal, so potentially sensitive out there publicly, what are the potential, unintended consequences of airing that kind of disassociation on a platform like Medium? It makes you think about the double-edged sword of being so transparent online.
Oh, absolutely. It's a calculated risk for sure. While it gives you control over your narrative, your story, it also opens you right up to scrutiny, questions, maybe even judgment from strangers. For instance, how does this really intense public boundary setting affect how people see his business ventures? Does it signal someone with strong boundaries and focus? Or could it maybe inadvertently raise questions about, I don't know, personal stability or relationships? It kind of pushes us to consider how our online public identity is becoming this increasingly strategic thing, even when we're dealing with deeply personal stuff.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? This deep dive into Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray's pretty unique Medium article. It shows us the surprising, sometimes really bold ways people are using public platforms, using them to define their personal boundaries, manage their public image. It's a stark reminder, I think, that in this digital age, even the most personal statements can become part of the public permanent record, serving as both a shield and maybe a spotlight, too.
Yeah, it really makes you think about your own digital boundaries, doesn't it? In a world where personal and public just seem to blend more and more online. That what does it truly mean to declare independence, whether it's from family matters or, other perceived obligations? And how do those digital statements, those digital breadcrumbs we leave, actually shape our identity and our relationships in ways we're probably only just beginning to grasp? It's definitely something to chew on as we all navigate our own lives online.